turn to business news now. Yuka Royer is in studio for that. Yuka, a number of European countries starting to lift coronavirus restrictions like we were looking at, notably Italy today, the country among the hardest hit in Europe.
That's right. As you said, Italy was among the hardest hit in Europe and perhaps the world, and the government is eager to get its economy back on track. Its parliament is set to start debating a massive recovery plan, which was unveiled at the weekend. The bulk of the €221 billion plan will be financed by a special EU fund. Italy is the biggest beneficiary of the €750 billion package and is entitled to over €190 billion in grants and loans. Brussels has been wary of a lack of detail in Italy's plan, but Rome has now come up with a 6-point blueprint which focuses on investing in young and female workers, as well as speeding up internet connections and on green energy. The government is also pledging to do more to tackle its judicial and administrative reforms. Now, Italy's GDP plunged almost 9% last year. With the recovery plan in place, the government has upgraded the growth forecast to 4.5% for this year and 4.8% for 2022.
Meanwhile, here in France, restaurants, cinemas and museums, it is hoped, will be able to reopen their doors mid-May.
That's right. Well, Europe is getting ready to welcome visitors, fully vaccinated foreign visitors, again by the summer, according to a New York Times interview with the Commission's chief. That's something badly needed for the tourism sector on the continent. Now, Catherine Viette takes a look at one tour guide in Paris who's been totally out of work for over a year.
The Louvre and the Tuileries Gardens are her office. Aude Dubois is a tour guide that works with Chinese visitors to Paris, the third largest group of tourists to the capital. But with the coronavirus pandemic, she's lost everything. Since last March, she's worked a total of just 16 hours.
We lose a bit of our confidence. The fact is, it's been a year since we've interacted with the artworks and given our explanations. Plus, it's losing the practice of speaking in a foreign language.
Before the pandemic, Aude walked about 10 kilometers a day as part of her job. Now it's more like 10 kilometers a month, and her salary has shrunk dramatically as well. As a guide, she contracts with various tourist agencies and is paid by the hour. Few of her employers have offered her partial unemployment benefits.
My contract with my employers is a Louvre visit for 2 hours or 4 hours. So for the agencies, it's a pain in the neck to do all of this paperwork for just 4 hours and for lots of guides.
For the past year, Aude's been living on her unemployment benefits, her savings, and her husband's salary. But at the end of May, those benefits run out. At 60 years old, Aude says it's the end of the line for her.
I don't think Chinese tourists are coming back before 2022, so I'll retire sooner than I expected.
Her hope is to see a benefits program specifically for tour guides. While it's too late for Aude, it could help those just starting out in this career.
Well, on some parts of the globe, the Covid-19 virus is seen to be somewhat under control, at least for now, and so free movement of people is cautiously coming back.
Ever so cautiously, Hong Kong and Singapore have just announced a travel bubble between the two starting in 1 month's time. A quarantine-free travel corridor was initially slated to open last November, but was delayed due to a spike in cases in Hong Kong. The scheme will begin with just one flight a day into each city, with up to 200 travellers on each flight. A negative COVID test result will still be required. Now, while Singapore has already opened its borders to some countries and cities, Hong Kong has banned non-residents since March of last year.
Okay. Let's take a quick look, Yuka, at the markets this Monday.
Well, European markets started trading on a rather quiet note at the start of a busy earnings week. As you can see, look at the figures now, a bit of a mixed bag. London and Paris slightly down, and Frankfurt DAX up by 1/10 of a percentage point. A bit of a mixed bag as well in Asia earlier, with Tokyo rising on profit taking, this again ahead of a busy earnings week.
And Yuka, we were speaking just a short while ago to our film critic Lisa Nesselson about the 93rd Academy Awards, but you've been looking at what Oscars night means for filmmakers.
Well, big awards and can boost ticket sales, so they're important and may also open new revenue streams. After Parasite won Best Pictures last year, for example, Netflix decided to invest $500 million into South Korean movies because that was a South Korean film. This year's awards are all the more important, especially in the US, where cinemas are slowly starting to reopen in physical forms after the US box office dropped a historic 80% last year. Now, according to the Motion Picture Association of the United States, subscribers of online services meanwhile crossed 1 billion globally for the first time last year, though that growth is slowing down as the economy is slowly reopening.
Indeed, getting back to where we need to be. Yuka Royer, thanks a lot for that business update. Indeed, that's where we're going to have to leave it for this edition. Do have a good day here on France 24.